Hello, I'm Hippie Banger and welcome to my channel. I thought that today I would do kind of an introduction to myself as a minimalist and how I kind of got into it because I don't know, I felt like it was a good idea. um, yeah, so I'm gonna do that. At first, I actually didn't really know a whole lot about minimalism. I had just kind of seen it around here and there throughout my life. I was first introduced to the concept of minimalism in an episode of this TV show. You've probably heard of it. It's called Wife Swap, and there was just this family that was very minimalist. I think they said that they had like maybe 100 items in their home total. And when I first saw that, I thought like, there's no way that I could do that. I love having my stuff, and I thought it was just really weird. And yet here I am now. But I thought like, why wouldn't you want to have things? Obviously, my view on the subject has matured since then. I think I was around probably 15 or 16 when I saw that, and I just had like a very, very kind of basic understanding of it, which was just, hey, you don't have a lot of stuff. I thought it was just the bare essentials, but obviously that is not necessarily the case for everybody. Eventually, I stumbled across this documentary about the subject on Netflix, and it was just titled Minimalism, and it followed these two guys who told their story about how they decided to give up everything to change their lives to make themselves happy, and then they choose to go around kind of spreading the idea to other people. And I thought that was really interesting, and so I started looking into it a little bit more. And while I was watching this stuff, I just had this like moment of realization, and I was just looking around my room, and there was, things everywhere. There was paper all over the place, there was garbage, there was dirty dishes, and just random items all over the place. And I realized that I was just miserable living the way that I was. And so that night, I actually started going through all of my stuff and slowly kind of picking away things that I didn't need anymore, things that I didn't want anymore. And so I put them aside and just threw them into a box. And this process, I think, took about a week to get through. And I had ended up with, I think, one or two boxes that were not just filled but overflowing with stuff. And that is obviously excluding the number of bags of garbage that I sent out and the number of stacks of paper that I sent out into the recycling. And it was a mess. It was a total mess. And I remember I was just like looking around afterward, and I thought like, this is amazing. And already I couldn't believe how I lived with all of that stuff before, because it was so surreal to think about the fact that I just was content with having all of this crap just sitting around collecting dust, taking up space, and just doing nothing and not really serving me any kind of purpose whatsoever. Um, but then, of course, after a while, I started to become a little unsatisfied with it. I mean, I wasn't particularly satisfied to begin with, but eventually I decided about a month later that it was time to go for another round and pick out more things to get rid of, and I started to go through things a little more in depth, and I had, I suppose, developed kind of a skill towards deciding whether to keep things or whether to get rid of things. And I did this about 4 more times until now, which I am now, as spring is coming, I'm starting to go through things yet again to decide what to get rid of, because I still am not entirely satisfied with the way that things are sitting with me. And one thing that I kind of learned about this is that, you know, it's not all about just having nothing but the bare essentials. It is more about having the things that provide you with value and things that make you happy, and excluding all of the things that do not. And so that was a really big learning experience for me. And I definitely think that this is something that I'm going to continue to take with me throughout my life. One of the main reasons that I wanted to start decluttering things is because I have the intention to eventually move into an RV. And of course I can't do that right now because I do not have my driver's license yet. So that would be a little bit difficult to do. And also, the winters here get kind of cold. So I would have to relocate, which I have already decided I'm going to do anyway. But I figured that because I'm going to have to get rid of a lot of furniture, I figured the easiest way would be to start getting rid of the smaller stuff first. Because obviously, you cannot keep a lot of things in an RV. There's not a lot of space for that, which is fine by me because I do not really require a lot of space to begin with. I spend most of my time here in my room. As you can see, this is where most of my videos are going to be filmed, is in this room or on the outside once it gets nicer and once it gets less cold. Within the first month of beginning this journey, I was already starting to experience not only the benefit of having a cleaner space to exist in, but I was starting to feel the benefits for my own health and for my own mood. I have been dealing with depression for many years now, and for a very long time it just kind of felt like a way of life for me. You know, this is inevitable. It is what it is, and it's not gonna go away. But I found that as I was clearing out all of the extra stuff, my mind became a lot clearer as well. And I will probably talk a little bit more in depth about this specifically later on in a different video. But I had already started to really notice a lot of the benefits of embracing this lifestyle and bringing it into my own home and into my own life. And so that is why that is like the main reason why I have continued to do this, just for me. And you know, a lot of people probably aren't going to get it, and that is okay, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what other people think about it. What ultimately matters is how it affects me, and you know, how it affects my health. And if it affects my health positively, then that is really all that matters. So I apologize for the chaoticness of this video. It's definitely not the best planned thing that I have created, but I hope that kind of gave a little bit of insight into why I'm doing this, why I started this channel, to kind of track my journey and to hopefully inspire some of you guys to embrace this really miraculous idea into your own life. And if you do enjoy this video and you do enjoy this content, I would really appreciate it if you would hit the like button and subscribe. That really helps my channel out, and I look forward to talking to you guys again next week.